Welcome back to week 2 of R2's ROM reviews. This week I'm going to be looking at LeeDroidFlyer 4.3 for the HTC Flyer. LeeDroidFlyer 4.3 is based on Android 3.2.1 Honeycomb and is based off the HTC Asia Honeycomb WWE 3.63.708.1 leak. It's running Sense 1.1 for tablet, and is running the Linux kernel 2.6.35.14. Some of the custom features that you'll find in the LeeDroidFlyer ROM is the inclusion of hardware button support. Most of the Honeycomb ROMs don't actually support the capacitive buttons on the screen. They only support the software buttons, which were introduced with Honeycomb and ICS. This is kind of cool because, if there's hardware buttons on the device, might as well use them, otherwise they're just blacked out and useless. As you see, the hardware buttons will turn with the device, so it makes it easy to use. Another one of the custom features is the ability to change the carrier lock screen text. One of my favorite features of this build, though, is that it's carrier IQ free. It comes with a custom kernel and the custom ROM, which has all of the carrier IQ bullshit stripped out of it, so you don't have to worry about HTC or Verizon or anybody else spying on you. It also comes with a custom version of the HTC Rosy launcher, which fits many more icons in the app drawer than the original build. There's also transparency built into the app drawer, so you can see behind it. This I don't really think is that much of a plus, because if you look, the background defaults to the previews menu, which is this. So it's not like you can see the widgets as close up as you would on, say, an AOSP build with transparency in the launcher. LeeDroid also comes with the battery mod that shows the actual percentage of the battery in the icon. Of course, like almost any rooted ROM out there, it features the extended reboot controls. You can do power off, hibernate, restart, silent mode, vibration mode, airplane mode, and the mobile networks. The restart mode, if you click that, will give you the option to restart, hot boot, boot to recovery, and boot to bootloader. To be honest, I wasn't all that impressed with this ROM. Many of the issues that I had were actually due to Sense and not the ROM itself, which is understandable because with Sense, it's not like you have as full control over the ROM as you would, say, on an AOSP ROM. My biggest issue, and I don't know if it was because of the kernel or because of the ROM itself, was that it constantly locked up. Right now it's running pretty smoothly, but within the first week or so that I was playing with it, I had 3 to 4 lockups a day, and it just got kind of frustrating. One of the other issues that I had is that the clock defaults to the 24-hour format, and even when I unchecked it, on reboot, it would turn back. You can't tell now because it's early, it's in the AM, but that's just kind of frustrating because I don't know military time. I really couldn't stand the boot animation either. The animation itself is really cool, but the sound, as you see, it's kind of obnoxious, and it reminded me of Jurassic Park. It reminded me of Jurassic Park, and I didn't really understand how that fit in with the rest of the ROM. This you can obviously change, but it just adds to the overall frustration that I had with the ROM. And there's one of those awesome lockups that I had mentioned earlier. The rest of this review is just going to be me talking about it because, as you see, it's frozen. On camera, I've gotten it to freeze once and reboot right after I booted back up from that freeze. And rebooting from it, it's frozen again. So, as you can see, I'm a little frustrated with this ROM. One of the other things that really bothered me about this ROM, or not really bothered, but really frustrated me with this ROM, is that when you plug it in, 9 times out of 10, you'll get this message saying that you're pulling too much power and that it's unable to charge, and please close some apps or power off or something like that. The battery life to begin with was atrocious, and I actually had to have the device powered off for it to get any kind of reasonable charge. Again, I don't know if the reboots and lockups are due to the kernel or due to the ROM itself. The ROM is really popular, so I would imagine that it's a pretty stable ROM. The ROM is one of the most popular ROMs for the Flyer, so I don't know why I was having so many issues with it when everybody else seems to think that it's really stable. But as you see, it's still not booting up, so there's still some really big issues with this ROM. In general, I wasn't really all that impressed with honeycomb on it either. It left these huge gaps on the sides to the home screens, about an inch or two on each side, which really limited the amount of space that you had available for widgets and app icons, etc. Sense was actually a pretty enjoyable experience on this ROM though. The camera was beautiful, and there's that obnoxious boot up sound. The camera on the thing is amazing, has really cool effects on it. The dots feature, pixel feature was my favorite. You could basically turn everything into one of those pop art drawings, which I thought was really cool. Overall, I have to say I was really not all that impressed with this ROM. I'm hoping that maybe it was just me and that other users out there won't have this many issues with it, but I have to say I won't be keeping this ROM on my Flyer for very much longer. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week as I take a look at stock MotoBlur on the Droid Razr. Make sure to subscribe to youtube.com/RootsWikiTV and follow me on Twitter at r2.inc.